There were five men. All five had mild intellectual disabilities, but they lived independent lives. They had jobs, they drove cars, they played sports. On February 24th, 1978, they attended a basketball game in Chico, California. Their favorite team was playing. They stayed late. They were happy. After the game, they got into Jack Madruga's car, one of the five men, and started driving home. They were expected back that same night. They never arrived. Instead of driving south toward home, they drove east, up into the mountains, into the Plumas National Forest. This made no sense. They knew the area. They knew the roads. They hated cold weather. And yet, they left the highway and climbed higher and higher into snow-covered terrain. At around 11:30 p.m., their car became stuck in deep snow, more than 70 kilometers from where they should have been. The car was not damaged. It had fuel. It could have been pushed free, but they abandoned it and walked into the freezing darkness. Families reported them missing the next day. Search teams found the car quickly. Inside were candy wrappers, a basketball program. Their belongings outside. Their footprints led away from the car and into the snow. The footprints went uphill, toward harsher weather, toward deeper wilderness. Why? Nearby was a Forest Service trailer, a heated shelter, with food, beds, and supplies. But the footprints passed right by it and continued deeper into the mountains. That decision likely sealed their fate. 3 months later, in June, a man on a motorcycle found the trailer. Inside, they discovered Ted Wire. He was dead, wrapped in blankets, on a bed. He had lost over 45 kilograms. He had starved to death. But here is the disturbing part. In the trailer were enough food to last months, canned goods, dehydrated meals, a working heater. Ted had eaten only a small portion. He had survived 8 to 13 weeks, slowly starving, while food sat just meters away. Why didn't he eat? Why didn't he leave? Near the trailer, they found Bill Sterling, Jack Madruga, both frozen to death. Not far away, beneath a tree, they found Jack Hewitt. Only fragments of bone remained. Animals had scavenged his body, but the strangest case was one of the men, Gary Mathias. Gary was never found. No body, no clothing, no trace. He simply vanished. This case raises questions that still have no answers. Why did they drive into the mountains at all? Why did they abandon a working car? Why did they ignore a warm shelter? Why did Ted starve to death next to food? And finally, what happened to Gary Mathias? One theory says Gary had a mental health episode and led them into the mountains. Another says they were frightened by something on the road. Some believe Gary left the trailer and survived longer than the others, but no evidence supports any clear explanation. 5 men went to a basketball game. 4 were found dead. 1 disappeared forever. They had shelter. They had food. They had a chance to survive. And yet, they died one by one in ways that still defy logic. To this day, the case of the Yuba County Five remains unsolved. What made them take that road? What made them keep walking? And what happened to the 5th man, who was never found? Thank you for watching. What do you think happened that night? Leave your theory in the comments and subscribe for more true stories.